Hello, friends and countrymen. Let's all get together and listen to me talk about your questions and address your topics and all of these things that you wanted me to talk about. They're all taken from Twitter, so if you want to get involved, my Twitter link is in the description, so feel free to go follow me there if you're interested. If not, no big deal. I don't take it personally, but anyway, let's get into these before I fritter away any more of your valuable time talking about nothing in particular. So, first one, from Shift X Turtle. Talk about the guy that got his face bitten off. Alright, Turtle, so basically, for those of you who need to be caught up, a guy in Miami, Florida, who was high on bath salts, attacked and essentially ate the face of a homeless guy. And my biggest, mystery, my biggest quandary about this whole situation is I don't know, first of all, what the hell are bath salts? Like, I really don't know. I'm not an expert in these underground, ridiculous, cannibalistic drugs that people tend to be having fun with nowadays. I don't know, new generation, No, I'm just kidding. But, and then I don't know, like, if I had to eat a face, I don't even know where I would begin, Like, do you just go gung-ho and seize the day and just go straight on to the nose, or do you kind of, like, go for a juicy, more succulent part, like the cheek, or if I have to eat the face, do I have to do it in some sort of, ridiculous attack-style, gorging yourself like a goddamn hyena like that guy did, or can I just, like, cut off a little bit of his cheek, saute it in some mushrooms and extra virgin olive oil, and then just make a meal out of it, just have a nice evening, turn on Netflix, I don't know, but I think it's pretty messed up that this happened. I'm pretty sure anyone with half a conscience understands that this is really, really effed up. But there's not really that much to say. Like, this is such a crazy story that it just blows your mind. You can't even address it because there's nothing to reference it to. You can't say, like, hey, this is like the time that famous politician got really high on bath salts and then ate his rival's face off. Like, no, this doesn't happen, or very rarely. And I don't know. It just blew my mind that this is actually a real thing, especially after I looked at the pictures, because the pictures are brutal. So feel free to look those up. Look at, like, Miami cannibal victim or Miami zombie victim. I don't even know what the keywords are, but I guarantee you'll find it. And only look if you have a pretty strong stomach, because it's pretty gruesome, I spend a good amount of time on the internet, and the internet does a great job of desensitizing you, but even looking at this picture, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, like, his nose was gone. Like, you could see the two cavities in his face where the nose used to be, but all the flesh had been just torn away by some guy's teeth. So that was pretty horrific, but let's stop talking about that because it's really scary. On to the next thing. Sal, HDPD, if you could buy anything right now, no matter how expensive or how selfish, what would it be? Let me think. I think that I would buy the White House, and screw Manifest Destiny for this example. Let's just assume that I have the White House and I can keep it as long as I want. Like, because first of all, there's no way that just because I own the White House, they would suddenly be like, all right, let's just move to a new White House. Like, no, you can't just change the location of the president's, you can't just change the president's residence, so to speak. You just can't. He has to stay there. So I would keep it, and I would charge Obama and all the other subsequent presidents a nice chunk of change just to stay there, which would obviously be footed by you taxpayers, so thank you very much for that. And I would make sure that my room was right across from the Oval Office, and so as he was sitting in there, as whatever president it was, I could just picture Obama sitting there with his four fingers pressed into his temples, like rubbing them back and forth, like, oh God, just mulling over some documents, like, there's nothing I can do, people are gonna hate me regardless, and there's no solutions. And then meanwhile, I'm over in the other room, and I have a awesome jacuzzi set up with a lot of models, and all my friends are there playing Xbox and stuff with a bunch of big 3D TVs everywhere, and I have a couple bodyguards standing around, and maybe like a juggler, but he juggles with fire. Definitely a juggler. That's got to be a stipulation as part of this. Got to have a juggler. And I can just picture Barack looking over at me, and I'm like, hey Barack, you want to come take a break? And I like hold up a glass of champagne as I'm sitting in the jacuzzi, and then I'm like, oh no, wait, you're the fucking president. You can't take a break. Slam them, boys. And then the door slammers, my dedicated door slammers, would slam the double doors real fast in Barack's face, and he would be like, oh man, and get really pissed off. And then I picture almost like a 90s cartoon where he would be sitting in his office and throw his fist into the air like, Taylor, and just get really angry, because I would constantly be titillating the president with thoughts of not being the president, because I mean, as much as they say they want to be president, it seems like it's mostly just for the power, because it seems like a really unpleasant job for the most part. But anyway, that's what I would buy. I would buy the White House and just mess with all the presidents, just play pranks on them. Like I would have changed all of the words around in Bush's speeches, but since he was like either dyslexic or 2 shades past retarded anyway, that may have actually helped him. So maybe I don't know. That'd be frustrating to be in there when Bush was president, just because every prank that you tried to do to him, he would like trip and fall on the way to the prank, and I'd be like, oh god damn it! Now he's pranking himself before I can get him. But yeah, probably not a very prudent decision, but that's what I would do. All right. Racer_E36, talk about paranormal. Do you believe in ghosts? I do not believe in ghosts, just like I don't really believe, I do not believe in unicorns or fairies or pixies or anything like that. And it's not because I'm against the idea of ghosts or anything. It's not like I'm saying, I refuse to believe in ghosts. It's just, there's no evidence for them. There's no reason to believe in ghosts, so I don't believe in them. It's kind of like the same way if you asked me, incredulously, like, hey, why don't you believe in ghosts? I could be like, why don't you believe in unicorns? And then every example that you gave for why you don't believe in unicorns is equally applicable to not believing in ghosts, because for both of them, no evidence, no reason to believe in it. Pretty silly, because as you know, the default position for anything is non-belief, and so you don't believe in something until sufficient evidence has been provided to warrant that belief. So, big no to the ghosts. Hopefully, you're not like a ghost hunter or something, and I just bashed on your whole career majoring in ghost hunting. Woozy_X, how's life going? Well, thank you for asking, Woozy. Life is going pretty well. I'm still going through kind of one of those bouts of depression, but it's going day by day, really kind of just fading in and out, and it's really not that terrible compared to some of my worst bouts with it, but still, I don't want to get back on medicine. I really don't like being on antidepressants. It makes my whole personality different. It makes me feel weird. I don't care for it. And usually these depression kind of spurts for me go for like a month or 2 months or something, and then they fade away for a while. And so I'm just trying to tough it out and deal with it. But today, I was feeling pretty shitty this morning, but I'm feeling a little bit better now, so I'm doing all right. It always helps me to get into a video like this and start talking and just having a good time, and that really brings me out of it, and it turns me more into Murkadurka, and Murkadurka doesn't get depressed because he is not a real person, really. I mean, he is me, but I'm different when I do Murkadurka in that I don't think about the problems of Taylor, if that makes sense. So it's easy to not be depressed when you're Murkadurka instead of going back into Taylor's life and realizing all of the contingencies you have to be stressed out about. So, yeesh. I'm doing all right. Don't worry about me.